Years ago, protesters went to Tucker Carlson's home. I think you probably both remember that pretty vividly. You called it at the time stomach turning and said it has to stop. But it's funny, I was talking to another broadcaster the other night, and she said, one thing Megyn does that is most of us don't do is go after other people in media really personally. Like there's sort of a gentleman's agreement in a lot of media to not attack each other personally. And that I don't know if you think that's true as a broadcast person.
Why don't you do me a favor and Google Megyn Kelly NBC and tell me whether the journalists
you recently talked about Maddow's public complaints and sort of said that she should put up or shut up, basically, but also about her expensive real estate, about her homes. And I'm curious, do you have any compunction about getting that personal?
No. I would never give out her address. That would be a bridge too far, and it doesn't compare to what happened to Tucker in any way, shape, or form. But Rachel Maddow got out there and tried to act like, I'm a woman of the working class. I'm here to represent the poor staffers who could lose their jobs now as a result of Joy Reid biting it. And meanwhile, she's collecting $25 million a year. She's got multiple homes worth millions. You know what? Why don't you take a $2 million pay cut and save 10 of those jobs? If you feel that sad, you don't even have to pay it out of your bank account. Just tell them, pay me $23 million next year instead of $25. She won't do it. She wants to seem virtuous and sanctimonious, but in fact, she's only the latter because she won't actually put any money on the line. And an example of the exorbitant life she leads while she's trying to remind us, I've worked so many jobs, the jobs I've worked, puts to the point her hypocrisy.
My team did put together a few examples of people violating the gentleman's agreement about which we know nothing, and I've been in cable news for 20 years. Here it is.
And to truther Megyn Kelly. Of course, there's more from Megyn Kelly, who seems to be sometimes the world's angriest multimillionaire.
I mean, look, it works for her podcast. Magnifying minorities, picking up on fringe issues.
Megyn Kelly, the blackface expert, the Jesus and Santa are white lady, is not going to crawl her way back to social relevance.
She owes a bigger apology to folks of color around the country.
That's silly, and it's disingenuous, and it's just as ignorant and racist as the statement itself. She said something stupid. She said something indefensible.
This Kremlin propagandist, Tucker Carlson.
The image he was portraying on Fox, I would actually argue it's un-American. It's a darkened heart. That's what it is. That comes from a darkened heart.
The idea of Tucker Carlson being in that mob that day and not wetting his pants is hard to imagine.
I think Tucker Carlson gives a lot of airtime to hate for the LGBTQ community.
He is heinous, he is vulgar, he's atrocious.
The stuff Tucker and Laura Ingraham say every night, it could be written by white supremacists. And there's a section of this manifesto where the shooter starts talking about, people always say diversity is strength. I can hear it in Tucker's voice. He says this all the time, right? But the Ben Shapiros of the world say this.
To our most prominent white nationalists, he arguably has done more on cable television to spread the gospel of hate, fear, and paranoia than anyone since radio propagandist Father Coughlin in the Nazi era of the 1930s.
The worst thing about it is that Tucker, to me, was always a dumb person's idea of what a smart bigot sounded like.
The most racist show in the history of cable news.
It's weird how I didn't get the memo on the gentleman's agreement that Ben Smith and his anonymous broadcast source received. Hello, wake up. As they say in that one of my favorite movies, get in the game. These people have been slinging it at us for years. And if they can't take some mild, hey, she's rich and sanctimonious pushback, what more can we say?